Hundreds of Muslim ethnic minority Rohingyas have been conscripted to fight for Myanmar's embattled military junta, the BBC has learned. That is despite the fact that Rohingyas are denied citizenship and are subjected to a range of discriminatory restrictions, including a ban on travel outside their communities. Well, our Southeast Asia correspondent Jonathan Head is in Bangkok and told me more about what he's learned.
Well, with my Burmese colleagues, we've spoken to 7 different people in 5 camps. Now, you have to remember that while millions of Rohingyas have left Rakhine State, 700,000 were driven out in the dreadful attacks on them by the military back in 2017, an operation described by the UN as possible genocide. Another 600,000 remain in Rakhine State in this very precarious situation, and a quarter of those are confined to these squalid IDP camps. They've been there since communal violence 12 years ago. They can't move. And we spoke to these 7 people in 5 different camps just to confirm that this systematic conscription was going on. The military government has denied it. They say they're just getting Rohingyas prepared to defend their own camps. This is not what we heard. We heard that the military have been going around and telling the camp organisers that they must provide lists of young men ready to be conscripted, between 15 and 25 from each camp each time they came. And these men were then selected. They were told they had no choice, that their families would be threatened by the military if they didn't comply. They were sent for training, taught how to fire guns, and then thrown into battle. And in Rakhine State, where the Rohingyas are, there is a huge amount of conflict at the moment between an insurgent army, the Arakan army, and the military. The military has been pushed back, it's been defeated there, as it has been in many other parts of Myanmar, and it's struggling to fill its ranks. It's lost a lot of troops through desertion or through injuries, and so it's simply using the Rohingyas instead. And they described horrific experiences of being thrown into these brutal chaotic battles, where they suffered injuries. They saw other Rohingyas killed. Eventually, they were sent back to home after the battle was over. But they're sitting. Some of them have gone into hiding because they say that we're being told we might be summoned to go back and fight again.
And presumably, Jonathan, they have no hope of that situation changing.
Well, they're trapped, you see. We know of lots of people in Myanmar after this conscription law was enforced in the last few weeks. Because the military can't get people to join the army, it's so unpopular. Lots of people in Myanmar are fleeing. They're either coming here to Thailand or they're going underground. But these Rohingyas are stuck in these camps. They're never allowed to move anyway. They're completely trapped. And they're very easy for the military to go in and just point a finger and say, you've got to join. But think of the hideous irony here. The military in particular does not recognise the Rohingyas as having any legal right to live in Myanmar. They've pursued these dreadful policies against them of discrimination and outright killings back in 2017. They've always been regarded almost as sort of unpeople, as people who just don't belong. And yet now they're being forced to fight the military's battles. And it has another bad knock-on consequence, because the local Rakhine Buddhist population, the other community in Rakhine, supports the insurgents. And it's only going to inflame tensions between them and the Rohingyas when the Rohingyas are seen, unwillingly of course, fighting on the military side. So it's going to store up a lot of problems for the future.
It's Jonathan Head in Bangkok.